In this short video, we'll look at ways we can modify Atmel Start example projects when working in Microchip Studio. In the project we've been working with, the button starts a timer for 32 milliseconds, which is the debouncing delay, and then the LED turns on. The same when the button is released. This example is linked below. So, opening main, we can see that there's some initialization code with start. There's an interrupt service routine to handle the button release or press. And you can see that some simple callback functions have been created to handle those events. The simplest modification would be to reverse the polarity of how this works. Instead of out set, we can say out clear, and vice versa. The options presented here are based on the registers and header files of the device datasheet. The reference to get you going at this level is AVR 1000B, writing C code for AVR. This is linked below. Before we program, when we push the button, the LED turns on. After programming, when we push the button, the LED goes off. The next thing we might want to do is to change the start configuration. So we click on Reconfigure Atmel Start Project. Here we can see how this project is set up. Specifically, we'll have a look at the timer and the event system. Here on the Events tab, you can see that this pin change on port C7 triggers that event connecting to the timer. But what I wanted to do is look at the clocks, and here you can see that the timer is clocked by a 2 MHz clock. To make an arbitrary change, we change the peripheral prescalar division to 4. So we generate the project. We can see the different files which are modified. We can view a diff if we wanted. The Atmel Start integration video linked below shows how to set up the diff merge. And clicking OK. So before we program, we see this differential of 32 milliseconds. After we program and run, we can now measure close to 64 milliseconds. So these changes were simple. But the idea is that you can find an example project, use it as a starting point, and modify it according to application requirements.